So I kind of feel that it lets someone who's reckless possibly get a free pass out of it, so they don't stand accountable to it. So that's what I'm reading. I might be wrong about it, but it's what I saw based upon what we passed with that ordinance, so that's
Right, and
all.
I think you're correct, and that was debated in the legislature. You know, that's always, unfortunately, no law is perfect. I think the thought was we want to empower municipalities to be able to help reduce speeding without, you know, with the decrease in officers that we're seeing, et cetera. And that's why they empowered you to make the decision if you wanted to have those cameras or not. You know, I would argue that, you know, if it was my child using my car and they got a ticket, they would have to pay for that ticket in some way, shape, or form, and they would not be borrowing my car again. So, I mean, I understand that there are like downsides to it, but you know, that's one of the reasons why it wasn't mandated. It was enabling language that you all got to decide if you wanted to put the cameras in or not. So.
And that, you're absolutely right, Senator. That's part of the reason I did support it. It is, it's not prescriptive per se. We're not, the state is not imposing this law on municipalities to implement. It is the choice of municipalities, and I certainly support that choice. And should the city move forward with it, I think that would be great, especially with respect to making sure that our roadways are safe, especially for pedestrians. And but nonetheless, you know, there's always concerns regarding civil liberties whenever there's questions about installing cameras of any types. But I think you have a delegation that's always willing to listen to those points, especially before we vote on significant legislation like that.
All right. A couple things. I listened to you guys when you talked to the town council. Lead remediation is a big deal now. We have a program. We're looking at that. We've identified some residents that have lead. And Senator, you had talked about DPH. I went on our DPH website. I didn't see a program yet. Is that something that's coming?
It hasn't quite like kicked in yet.
Okay.
I can send you the information.
All right, I'd appreciate that because I do want to get that out to the residents. I want to go proactive
So that's
on
in
that.
the house, and then the other lead is in the, you know, like the roadways, that's
Right.
federal.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The other thing is, thank you for your support of the enterprise zone. We got 89.59% of what we asked for, which was $641,000 total is what we got. That's good. I'm interested, so the deputy alluded to whether or not we need some money. I was just briefed Friday about the Shore Avenue seawall project due to some as-found conditions with bedrock or lack of bedrock. There's going to be a cost overrun, and so any amounts of money that you can find, I'd appreciate it. I've already reached out to Congressman Courtney's office as well. Actually, I called Congressman Courtney and his office called me back, and so I'm looking at federal as well, but I'm also, and because of the new administration, earmarks are in question at this point. And so that's an issue. We're also going to get in touch with DEP and see if they have anything there. So
So if you can send us what you need, like if you wanna just email me and say, you know.
what, I don't have the exact number yet because,
Our bills are due Friday, so if you
Okay,
can
so
get
I-
me, like, you know, we're better off asking for more because it usually gets negotiated down.
Okay.
We're asking for bonding, so, if you have a rough idea on what you think you are gonna need, at least we can get the bill placed.
not a problem. I will get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, and then Andre and I can co-sponsor that to put that in, to try to cover you. Now, obviously, bonding takes a while, as you know.
Huh?
In the meantime, we can look through the deep grants to see if there's something else that may be available to help supplement.
Understand. And also for this year and for the future, any resiliency grants that are out there, Shore Ave is flooding more often now. Jupiter Point is flooding more often now. So if there are any grants out there that are available for resiliency, that's important to us. And then the last thing, although this doesn't affect us directly, it does affect us indirectly. I saw that you put an education bill in. You did.
Okay.
You put an education bill in, and I'm a little interested in what that's about And we want to try to maintain the Alliance District funding that we have, because that does impact the town. And that could be, if they lose that money, that's a potential 2 mil increase, which impacts City of Groton residents as well. So,
Do you remember what the bill was?
I wait,
I have
give me a
like
mo-
100 bills. on
no, I know you do.
Sorry. Was that to make?
Don't
Groton,
apologize for doing your job.
Like to be counted as a military town?
No, I'm gonna give you the number.
Or you can, I can tell you right now that there's no stomach
Proposed,
to.
proposed bill number 47,
Okay,
an act concerning the education cost-sharing grant for the town of Groton,
yeah.
is the
that's
title of the grant.
To try to fully.
Title of the bill, rather, excuse me.
Yeah, that was try to fully fund the excess cost grant, which needs to be. I was disappointed in the governor's speech. He said he's gonna hold, education funding harmless, but there was no discussion about the excess cost grant, which is where all the cost is for special education.
Right,
We do have a special group that is working, dedicated just to this, but it particularly hits some of our small towns where it costs $25,000 to educate a student. They don't get any more money until 4.5 times that student. So
Right.
that really needs to be looked at in a holistic way, so that's what that bill is about.
Okay.
I don't think there is any stomach for taking any school off the Alliance District. Once you're on there, that you have remained on there, we have continued to remain on there. Should we come off the Alliance District, you have a delegation that has fought for, God, I've been there almost 10 years now, on trying to make sure that our funding is appropriate. We're definitely an outlier because of the military base.
Right.
And, you will have our full support in making sure that we don't lose that. We understand it affects everyone in Groton, including city residents.
absolutely. Councilor Piazza, do you have any last thing, any last comments, questions? Okay, all right, thank you both for coming out.
I
Council,
have to
thank you for your
cut this
questions.
short. We do have another meeting that we have to get to, but please just send us that information. And again, all of you, please call us or reach out anytime. We work day and night, actually.
Oh, it never ends.
And
Okay.
we're happy to get back to you. And if you get those numbers, we'll get something in by Friday.
Yes, ma'am,
For sure.
I'll get that to you tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you both. Okay, Chief, you're up next. Police Department bulletproof vest.
You're gonna ask for money for that too? No, I'm just kidding. Oh my God, we just bounced off my hand. Hello? Yeah?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Councilman Sheffield, just to answer your question on the cameras, there is an appellate process that would be in-house as far as any concerns if we got the wrong identification. So that information could be provided to us at that time. So I just wanted to answer that question. I'm going to get to this, though.
Sure, go ahead.
Well,
All right.
and I want to stay on this topic, because if we start to get into a discussion, we potentially violate FOIA by not having it on the agenda. Chief, please continue.
Yes. So under the Office of Justice Programs, this is an annual budget that we apply for. And it's pretty much a fill in the blank for us. We have to provide the information as far as how many vests we'd like, and we actually have to assign them to the named officers, which is an update from the way the program used to be. It's a 50% match, so the dollar amount for this one would be $1,774.78. So that would be the 50% cost of the $3,400 that we're actually spending. And I'm just here tonight to ask you to allow me to apply for the grant and then accept its amount.
Okay, I'll open the floor for discussion. If there's any question, Councilor Sheffield?
How many bulletproof vests, Chief? How many?
So this would be 3.
Just 3? Okay.
Bulletproof vests right now are running about $798. So I'm sorry, this would be 4 vests. So about $798 is what we're looking at.
And the other vests are in good shape, they don't know?
Yeah, so the life expectancy on soft body armor, which is what this is 5 years from the manufacturer. And again, as part of the process for applying for the grant, we have to indicate that Number one, it's on their test and wear list because they have approved vests only. You can't go outside of that if you want to apply for the funding. And number two is they know what the manufacturer's warranty is, either a 5-year or a 10-year type. So.
Any other questions? Counselor Piazza?
Just kind of off the cuff, so if it's damaged in any way, they just refurbish it, give you another,
So
Is that how a
bulletproof,
warranty
so if a bullet-resistant vest is damaged, with it being layered Kevlar, then we have to replace it. It depends on what that damage was. So sometimes, obviously, it will take a round. And that will cause damage. That would be an automatic replacement. Other times, it may be an edged weapon or a knife weapon that somebody comes at us with. It could be something that's pointed. It could be as simple as a screwdriver. Anything that's used. If we're talking about, assault on an officer. Other than that, if the officers were neglected, then they would be responsible for their equipment because they are allotted a uniform allowance, and that would be, this would be an allowable purchase under that.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a motion to move this to the mayor and council meeting of January 21st, 2025.
so moved. Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, Groton
Good night.
Utilities. First up is transformer repair.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council.
Good evening.
So tonight, I am requesting your approval to create a purchase order for Phasor Engineering Services for not to exceed $351,894.00. The work is to refurbish one of the transformers that we have at the Buddington substation. It's a transmission transformer. It's 115,000 volts to 34,500 volts. The transformer that's out there right now has been leaking oil. It's no longer reliable. The scope of work would include pre and post testing, isolating the secondary bus so that it goes out of the side of it. The draining all of the oil is almost 7,000 gallons of oil within that transformer.
Wow.
It's going to be replaced back into the transformer. Rebuilding all radiator gaskets, valves, new cooling pumps, flow meters, replacing some access gaskets, and restoring the unit back to operable condition. Some quick notes on that transformer. It was manufactured in 1970. When we refurbish these things, they're usually good for 30 years. The last time that it was refurbished was after it took a lightning strike in Hurricane Gloria, which was back in 1984. The new transformer, just so you know, you might think that that's a large amount of money, $351,000 for refurbishment. A brand-new unit is almost $6 million. Currently leaking dielectric oil, as I stated, that's insulating oil that does not conduct electricity. And I'm happy to answer any questions that that you may have for me.
Okay, I'll open the floor for discussion, questions. Councilor Sheffield?
Bill, does any other municipality buy new transformers, or is it normally, we're refurbishing to keep the costs lower? Is that, That's a great question, Counselor. So the smaller transformers, absolutely, they have an end of life. When you get a big investment like these are, $6 million, you refurbish them every 30 years. So basically, the core is solid, the integrity of the outside is solid, it's just the cooling pumps, all of that stuff that goes through. And they'll do all the testing that goes along with it. So it's an investment in the future, it'll get you another 30 years. So this one here, since 1984, we've got,
Over 30.
thank you, yeah, quite a bit. We got our money's worth on it last time. All right, thank you.
Other questions, comments? Councilor Piazza?
That's what I was going to ask, is that, so when you do refurbish this, so this refurbishment, if that's a word, we're looking at another 30 years down the road. And how many times does refurbishing, or what history do you know is how many times a transformer of this size has been refurbished and continue, how many times would that happen before we actually come into a large cost?
So, good question as well. So that's depending on, a little bit of the luck there too. So your refurbishment also includes some pre and post testing. So we do a lot of, continuously every year, we do preventative maintenance to the units, right? So that's your investment into the unit.
Okay.
And the PM money that you put into it, the PM time that you put into it adds to the longevity of the unit. So we're very good with that. The substation team is very thorough with that. As you can see, this is from 1970, and it's still going strong. The testing's going well, the maintenance has been going very well with it. So it's a good investment.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I know you said 7,000 gallons of oil.
Yeah,
Okay, so that goes back in, or
that will be.
it's new? It's not like an oil change where you put in new?
No, it's tested for impurities. We keep the moisture out of it, of course, right? So it's pumped out, stored in a truck or a tank, and then when the work is all done, it will be pumped back in.
And just for knowledge's sake, what kind of oil does it take?
It's dielectric oil is what it's called. So it's a type of oil that does not conduct electricity.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? We gotta take a motion to move this to mayor and council meeting of January 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this passes. Fleet vehicle purchases, Jeremy. Does the council know you?
I'm going to introduce myself.
Okay,
Good evening. My name's Jeremy Doucette. I'm the manager of operations for Groton Utilities Electric. Tonight, we're here to request replacement of 3 vehicles. If it's okay with the council, I'd like to kind of start with one of them, and then the other 2 are kind of matches, so we'll kind of do those together if that's okay. So the first vehicle that we're looking to replace was, its unit number is 94E. It's a 2008 Ford van with 98,006 miles on it. It's been a reliable vehicle over the years, however, it's starting to show its age. This vehicle is one of 4 that is used daily by the substation crew. Some drawbacks to this vehicle currently are limited cargo height. It cannot move a full-size gas bottle in the rear of it. It is not four-wheel drive and is difficult to drive in snowy conditions. And it has no ability currently to tow a trailer. All these drawbacks would be covered with the suggested replacement, which would be a 2025 Ford F-350 fitted with a utility body at a cost of $93,207.90. This vehicle would be procured through Jangers Ford using the state bid list. Some added features to this vehicle would be a snowplow. This would allow us to better access remote recloser locations and access substation gates in snowstorms. It also would be equipped with a lift gate for lifting heavy cargo into the rear of it, which the van currently cannot do. Do you have any questions on that particular vehicle?
questions or comments on that vehicle? Okay, please go to the next.
Okay. As I said previous, these 2 will kind of be, the replacements will be identical, so I'll just read the older vehicles that we're planning to replace and then some features of the new vehicles. 88E is a 2007 Ford F-450 with 104,523 miles on it. This truck has been a workhorse over the years, and the line crew's primary means of moving medium-sized transformers and other large equipment. Currently, the bed has lots of rust damage and is developing holes. Some drawbacks to this vehicle are the bed is textured, so when we use it as a dump truck, because it is our primary dump truck, debris gets hung up in the bed and becomes a crew safety issue. There's no storage for PPE for the crews. It's a single cab truck, so during rain events, we have to kind of stack everything in the middle, which becomes a hazard. And also, the truck is very loud. It doesn't have much for, it's a 20-year-old truck with lower grade emissions. And then we'll go to this. All right, the second truck that we're interested in replacing would be truck 8. This is a 2012 F-250 with 194,236 miles on it. This truck has been well used, and we've been trying to keep it going over the last couple of years. Most notably, 2 years ago, we purchased a bed for it. The original bed had holes in it due to rust damage. Some drawbacks to this vehicle as well are no storage for PPE. It's a regular cab truck. It also has a smaller cargo area and towing capacity. We're suggesting that both these vehicles are replaced with matching 2025 Ford F-550 extended cab dump trucks. These trucks would be four-wheel drive. They'd be equipped with a fold-down stainless steel bed. They would be equipped with a lift gate, which is made for dump trucks. It maintains its dumping feature while being able to lift heavy objects. Yeah, that's about it for the.
Question or
features on the
comments? Counselor, correction, Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you. Thank you for the detailed information. I know sometimes people come and we ask a lot of questions, but when a lot of them are already answered in your presentation, it makes our life easier. So two of them, we are upgrading to a heavier duty vehicle than we've had in the past, correct? From the 450 to the 550.
Yes, the 450, the cargo capacity for the 550 is greater, so yes.
And do we expect that to increase like maintenance costs at all? Is it the same to like fuel or any of those, the kind of cost of ownership of the vehicle? Is that going to change drastically because we're getting a bigger vehicle?
The 450 and the 550 both normally use the same engine, so the fuel economy is relatively the same, so I don't see any additional cost. In regards to the 250 being upgraded to the 350, to the 550, it is a heavier duty truck. We're interested in kind of redundancy in the fleet. We want to make sure that we always have access to a heavy moving vehicle. The 250 is actually a little light for what we're trying to do with it. It does have difficulty when we fully load it, especially with the cable spools in the back and such. So I don't really see too much associated costs with the vehicles.
I think, and I just want to add, I think one of the things, that our residents appreciate about the utility is our predictability. And one of the reasons is because we do look at the future of how useful things like our vehicles are. So I'm all for making sure that we have the equipment that our staff needs to get the job done because, now that we've got such a reputation, our residents do expect that reliability and that's the way that it gets done is looking at those things. So thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments? Counselor Piazza?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for wonderful explanation of the vehicles. What's the warranty on them?
Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with the warranty on the particular vehicles in question. I can look into that and I can have
Okay.
that sent to the mayor and Mr. Mayor, you could help me distribute that?
Sure. Send it to me and I'll get it to the council.
Thank you. Okay, so, and I'm assuming with it being 2025s, that they would last just as long as these vehicles have, if not longer. So it seems that it's a common problem for the beds to rust and get holes and so forth. I'm assuming that what's lugged on and pulled off and the tracking of different things. So with the stainless steel bed, we're assuming those will have longer life, yes? So we have to replace them.
That is our intent,
Okay.
yes.
And I was looking at, and what we received, there's a couple lines that are highlighted. One is the power equipment group, and the other one is the backup camera kit.
Yep.
That is included or is not?
They are highlighted because we had them added. They were not on the original quote.
Okay. And on the backup camera kit, does that, I know what the backup camera is, but I mean, does it have automatic alarming when you back up or no?
I believe the 350 does. I'm unsure on the 550. I could look into that for you, though.
Okay. The only reason I ask is because I'm a bus driver, and we come across you all on the road very often. And so it just always made me wonder, so when you guys move, is there something that's alerting and so forth and so on? So it's just, just something to pass out to the bus drivers. Oh, like just, hey, there's gonna be these bright purple lights are gonna flash if they back up, or something, you know, just for an alert. But it's just something I just want to know on that. And I think it's great that you're doing the snow plows and the four-wheel drive, so get the job done more efficiently. Thank you for your info.
Any other questions or comments? Counselor Norris?
If you can just remind me, so we're replacing electric vehicles?
Yes, they're in the electric fleet, yes. They're not, like EVs.
Okay.
All right, so hold on. Electric as opposed to the water fleet, right? So they're not electric vehicles in that they're, you put them to the charger, they're electric as in division of the company.
Thank you.
Okay. Did that answer your
Yes, it did.
question?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Depot?
That's funny, because I thought that at first too, and I was like, wait a minute,
That's what I was.
they don't make it F-550 electric.
One day.
I just wanted to add that the backup alarm, it does have it on both quotes, it's just in different spots. On one quote, it's at the bottom, and on one quote, it's like 6 up from the bottom.
Oh.
So they do, both the quotes do list that there's a backup alarm,
I was
not
gonna
just
say,
the camera
most,
kit.
most vehicles of this size and this use, that's mandatory to have. Go ahead.
Just for clarification, we're asking about the sensors in the backup system. I believe that might just be the audible backup alarm
Right.
for the vehicle? Okay.
Right. The reason I asked that is because I know I've asked it way in the back, and it's probably a smaller truck, but it didn't have it, so I'm always looking at the safety, especially when we come across and like if we're, you know, I look at the bus kind of thing, like if we're crossing children near the construction, blah, 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 would we hear you backing up? You know, that we need to signal to them or whatever, you know, and it's just always safety, 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 so.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. I thought you were asking if the backup camera system had like sensors, which I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know the answer to that, but they are both equipped with audible alarms.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll take a motion to move this to mayor and council of January 21st, 2025.
So moved. Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on, I'm taking the donation request off.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill and Jeremy. And because Director Uhouse is not here, and we need to talk, he and I need to talk about a couple things. I want to make sure that Groton Utilities is also not funding these guys. And so it'll either come back to you or it won't, based on that conversation. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:08. Thank you, council, for coming out, and thank you for your questions.
Recording stopped.
Now, who's in it with me and Tony? I've forgotten.
No. I don't know what he is.
Being quiet over there, Mr. Paul.
I think it's you, Aaron, Tony.
And Paul.
You, Aaron, Tony, and Paul. There's only gonna be three of you. Can't be four.
No, it's Steve. It's Steve, Aaron, and Glenn,
Okay,
and then Paul, Tony.
okay. Well, then you have two pieces, so you have a quorum.
Congratulations.
So are we gonna do this all together, or are we going separately? Do we vote on that?
You got me. I'm not sure how this is going to work, so.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't have anything, so I don't